Surprise, me again. Alright. Whoa! Holy crap. Okay. This is going to be a good video. Yeah, it only weighs about 80 pounds. Soundboard makes it 4. Okay. That kind of threw my chain of thought. Alright. I'm a little worried now. Alright, as you see, I have been going over equalizers. I have been going over aux sends with my high-tech graphics. And if any of you need me to make high-tech graphics for your videos, please let me know. I have my marker, and I have my paper. Alright, what we're going to go over today is, we're going to go over the subgroups. Okay, so over here we have subgroup 1, 2, 3, and 4 on this particular board. Now, the way this works on subgrouping is up here we have usually buttons, and if you can see these, you don't really need to right now, but this says mix, this says 1, 2, and this says 3, 4. Okay, and then you've got your stereo pan. Alright, so what happens in the subgroup mixing is, let's say you say, okay, yeah, I want to have my vocals in 1 and 2. So you take your vocal, let's say this is your vocal, and you can have it centered for stereo, and you make sure that the only one checked in is 1 and 2. Okay, so what this does is this actually sends this over to this subgroup fader right here. That can be kind of handy if some particular song's going on and you want to bring down the vocals, or if they scream a lot and they're loud and then they kind of, you know, talk quietly during breaks or whatever like that, or however it works, you know. It's up to you. You can do whatever you want. Alright, now, let's say this next one is an instrument, and this is kind of common, instrument or drums or something like that. You can push this into 3 and 4, and that will send this signal from 3 and 4 over into these two right here. Now, if this is set up in stereo, and you can actually select, like this one's mono or stereo, a lot of them have that ability, so you can select if it is mono or stereo, or there's a fader on this here that will say where you want it to go. Sometimes there's a button that says left, right, mix. So sometimes you want to just say, okay, yeah, this one's going to go left, this one's going to go right, left, right, so you can actually get a stereo send. But let's say you want to be a little bit more intricate, and in a lot of bar situations you really only need to have mono. I have not ran into one live situation anywhere where stereo has actually worked better. Well, okay, I got to lie on that one. There was one concert I did, and there's a couple Grammy Award winning guitarists that did want to have their stuff in stereo. And it sounded pretty good, you know, but it was a small crowd in a small location. A lot of times you run things in stereo, you get the people on one side of the stage, doesn't hear the vocalist on the other side of the stage. So I don't, you know, in a normal bar situation, you don't need to be running stereo. So you can actually turn this 4 subgroup board into an 8 subgroup board. So what you do is you press in 1 and 2, you pan it all the way to the left. Boom. Now all the vocals are going through this slider right here. Just make sure it's pressed into mono or it's pressed into mix. You know, depending on the buttons, you just want to make sure that there's an allocation saying that this is going into the main mix, that it's not a stereo signal, that you can send that into like the left channel. And a lot of these you can tell them all go in the left channel, and the left channel goes out to the amplifier, which goes into the speakers. So then the next one over here, let's say this is another instrument, press that into 1 and 2. Now this one, after you fade this to the right, now this one is going here, this one is going here. So you could set all your vocals, 1, 2, 3, pan them to the left, press in 1 and 2, all your vocals will come here. Take all your instruments, fade them to the right. Make sure this is pressed 1 and 2, now all your instruments are coming through 2. It's kind of nice because if people stop, you know, if they stop playing or things like that, and you want to kill the stage volume, you can just bring the slider down. You control the overall instrument volume. Then you say, okay, yeah, we also have drums. We want to send drums. So you sit there and you take your drums and say, okay, here's all our drums over here. So then, let's say we're going to go into 3 on the drums. So you go 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4. Pan all these to the left for the drums. Now, all your drums are coming through this one. Okay? So it's kind of cool because you can actually kind of divide up things. You're like, wow, you know, the drums are getting a little loud and I want to bring them down because it's a nice mellow song. Or if it's an a cappella song, or, you know, some song where it's all sentimental and they're singing all soft and nice and things like that, then you can bring down the vocals, or I mean the instruments, and leave the vocals up. And then you can sit there and all of a sudden the song takes off and the drums are cranking and everything else, and rather than going, oh gosh, and trying to push everything up, you just come over here and you just push up the drums and the instruments over here on the side, and there you go. Now the drums and instruments are cranking, the song's got all the energy out there, and then as the song fades back down off the big energetic high or whatever they're doing at the time, then you can bring it back down to a normal, which I usually set them at 0. And then that also leaves you 4. So, you know, you've got a subgroup 4 that you can sit there and say, okay, now I'm going to punch in 3 and 4. And you can say, okay, yeah, this is going to be, you know, acoustic. Or, you know, let's say you got acoustic guitars. You know, maybe you have that issue and you've got electric guitars and acoustic guitars. Maybe you've got CD tracks. You know, a lot of bands now are bringing their own tracks that they're playing off their computers. And you can say, okay, yeah, I'm going to feed that into 4. So, you know, you can actually see that here. And what's kind of cool is most boards like this have 1, 2, 3, 4. You got your displays, and you can actually see what these tracks are doing. And you can see the volume. And then usually if you're doing that, if you send it all like out the left signal, which is left is normally considered mono in the professional audio world. Anyway, if it's all going out the left, then it goes into the amplifier. You have a mono signal out there. You've got 8 different areas that you have control over. You can bring down the vocals, like if it's just the instrumental part. And you know, there's always that resonance when you have vocals in the background and the mics are all live. And you can actually just bring those down. Or like, I don't usually go all the way down. I usually go halfway down. But you got to keep an eye on the singer, because if all of a sudden they walk up and they start singing, you know, you got to be watching for that. And I will tell you one other thing. I've got a trick little slide thing that I do a lot of times. You know, let's say you got your slider here and you're like, okay, yeah, I want to push this up. I'll leave my thumb there as I push it up for the, you know, the solo. And I'll just wait, and then when it's done, I just pop it back down onto my thumb, and I'm right back to where I was. I don't have to sit there and be like, okay, yeah, I was down on the 20 or something like that. So you can actually just sit there and you're like, okay, oh yeah, here comes that cool guitar solo, and you just slide it up, push that guitar solo out in front, and when it gets done, bink, drop it right back down to where it was. Don't even have to look up. All right. Anyway, thanks for almost watching the board fall on my head. That would have really been painful. And thanks for watching my videos. Again, Jeff, the sound guy with Sound and Light Technicians. You can visit my website at www.soundandlighttechnicians.com. Appreciate it. More hits makes my webpage show up higher on Google and stuff like that. But I do appreciate the viewings, and I do appreciate the comments. And also, I do appreciate rating my videos, too. It gets them out there. Not like I get anything for them anyway. Thanks.